okay, I promise this is gonna be the last video in this spot, but I just really want to catch you guys up officially and do like a first trimester recap. And then I wanna start doing more, not weekly vlogs, because I really don't know if I have the time for that, but just posting more videos in general. So I was not really planning on filming this today. I look like a disaster. I just got out of the shower. I'm so pale because New York weather has sucked. I have my notes again just so I like don't miss anything, because I know I have some clips of like early first trimester. So immediately after taking the test, of course, I went to go tell Vinnie. I had tried to stall him. If you noticed, I was whispering in the video because I was trying to do it when he was at the gym, but I literally got out of the shower the second he walked in from the gym, and he was literally feeding the dogs right there, like on the opposite wall of the salon bathroom, which he's never in. He thought that we were not going to be finding out until we went, or I went for the beta blood draw the next morning. So he thought that there was no way I would have known by then. And remember, we also really thought that it was going to be negative. Like, we were preparing for the next month's transfer. We just were so convinced it didn't work. I got him this book when we started trying. So September 2021. I think I got him in like December of that year, and it's like a little cartoon book. I'll insert like footage, and it says the story of us, and then the last page ended with because I'm pregnant. And I knew that regardless of the end, Vinnie like would love a gift like that. So I told him, I was like, oh, I got a gift for you. Just basically saying like, thank you so much for being so supportive throughout this whole process. And no matter what the result is tomorrow, it's okay. So like, let's read it. And I really think that he had like no idea. And I don't have like the best angle of him. You'll see, I have like my phone caught my face and then the camera caught his face. So I'll just probably throw them both in there. You see me like trying to set up the phone and camera in the video, like shaking while he's in the other room. Like I was freaking out. Before I play the video, just one last thing, because I think it's so funny, is when you do a first and embryo transfer, you are technically pregnant until proven otherwise. So when he first, and I knew this was gonna happen, but when he first saw I'm pregnant, he thought that I was saying like, and technically I'm pregnant, like up until tomorrow, no matter what, we know that I'm pregnant until proven otherwise. So his first reaction was like, oh, that's kind of premature. So it took him approximately like 7 seconds to realize that it was real.
You're so cute. A million movie dates and countless Chipotle burritos. But I know our story is just getting started. Because I'm pregnant.
It's a good test.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. I just took a test. I was gonna wait, but that's why I was freaking out, acting so weird.
Oh! 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 I think the book made it to you.
That's why I said 9 years. You wanted the gift that I told you I bought you over a year ago, and I just said, where is it? And I was like, I'm waiting to give it to you. I don't feel like this is real. I literally feel like I'm sleeping right now.
When'd you test?
Like 5 fucking minutes ago. I wanted to do it while you were at the gym, but I tested as soon as I got out of the shower, which was literally like as you were walking in, so I was trying not to freak out in the room.
So does that mean the beta thing tomorrow?
No, I know, but then so we just have to like be wary of the numbers. Like if the numbers blow, obviously it's not good, but like there's a line. You want to see them?
Yeah.
Afterwards was really cool because I was like, I don't have a test that says pregnant or not pregnant, but I was like, it probably, the lines look dark enough because your HCG levels need to be at a certain like highness to get a pregnant on the digital. So I said to him, I was like, I don't have one of those, but it's probably like dark enough to see it if you want to go like get one. He was like, yeah, get in the car. So we like sped to CVS and got that test. We came back in here. I was in my drawer because I had all my like tests with like the progression. So that was my first time I got to see. So I peed on the digital one. It's sitting in the bathroom and he's in the bathroom like staring at the little loading bars. And I was just looking at the progression, like in shock still. And I heard him make like a little noise, kind of just like a huh, like something like that. And I was like, what? And he was like, oh, I don't know what this means. And when I went in, it said pregnant on it. So he like wanted me to see it for myself, but it was really, really cool. So the first trimester, especially up until the first ultrasound, was a lot more anxiety ridden than I thought. I was very stupid and I thought that since we had never had a loss before, I wouldn't be nervous. And I remember being like, before we started IVF, like, oh, our problem is getting pregnant, not staying pregnant. So I have no reason to believe that this isn't going to work out, you know. Maybe 2 days after the first beta, I just was an anxious mess for like a while, and it was Very hard to get through. I had a miscarriage calculator, so basically it was just so dark, and some people it might make it worse, but for me it did help. You like plug in your stats and it basically shows you each day the stats of miscarriage dropping. So like when I first found out, I think I was like 3 weeks, 2 days, which is the earliest you could find out you're pregnant. And it's like 25%. And then each day it drops. And by the time you're like 8 weeks and you've seen a heartbeat on the ultrasound, it drops to like 5%. So I would check it every single morning. I was terrified, and I ended up having like a list of affirmations, like, which I'm so not an affirmations girly if you know me, but basically it was just kind of because I was so nervous to get my hopes up. And I remember being like, being guarded now won't make me less stressed or less upset later. So that really helped me. Fact-based affirmations, which is very me thing. Like I definitely am not the type like, my body can do this. Like that really doesn't do anything for me. I was just trying to remember like, there's more of a statistical chance of this ending with a live baby than there isn't. That really helped me. So if you need more and you're in this situation, please comment on this. I have no problem giving you my list because I was like an absolute nutcase for a few weeks. I have a bunch of clips in my first trimester, like very early, I think before we even had our first ultrasound. So I'm gonna insert that here. Client's coming in like 15 minutes, but I just had to do this. It's Thursday, which means tomorrow I'm 4 weeks pregnant technically, which is fucking insane. And my first beta was yesterday and it was 69.2, which is very good. Most places don't have you do your first beta until like your 9, 10, 11, 12 days post-transfer. So 7 was very early. So I was really just happy with anything over 20, and it was 69.2. The way you do the math is 7 days post a 5-day transfer, you add it. So then you're technically 12 days post-ovulation, which means today I'm 13 DPO and my next beta is tomorrow, and I'm just freaking the F out because I just really want the number to double. Like symptoms, not really a lot. I've been having some cramping and I'm always emotional, so I really can't blame that on that. But I've been so fucking thirsty, like going through like a Yeti like an hour, and I've had pretty bad insomnia, but I also think I'm just nervous / excited. Like yesterday morning for my beta, I woke up at 2 a.m. and I couldn't go back to sleep, so then I went to bed at 8. So anyway, I took tests and I was freaking out because these first responses are weird, and I feel like they just have less color in them in general. So I thought they're not getting lighter, but I just feel like they're not getting super dark. But I just looked back because it's been a little bit longer. Like within an hour, it's still valid, obviously. I mean, they're positive. Once they're positive, there's no such thing as like EVAPs, but like they definitely look darker now, so I'll show you. The Easy at Home looks really good. Can you see? It's not by a lot. Yeah, it's more solid. And another thing is you're not even supposed to compare them day to day. You're supposed to compare every 2 days because technically HCG only doubles every 48 hours. So if you compare it with my 6, that looks way darker, right? Oh my God, this is so fucking nerve-wracking. And here's my Easy at Home. So that's from 1 day's of a difference. Let's look at the 2 days. That's a huge difference, right? Oh yeah, this makes me feel so much better. It's like very gradual, but it's looking, oh my God, I can't stop shaking to show you. It's so crazy to me. I didn't look at 4 DPT, but there definitely is a line here. Like, you see it? It's super faint, but it's like 100% there. Like I can't believe I could have found them. That's really early. But it's looking like it's progressing like very nice and gradually, which I think is good. And look at this guy. I feel like 6 and 7 kind of look the same, but yesterday, I feel like 7 actually looked a little lighter. Maybe not. Like right now, I'm like, I just need to know the beta is doubling and I'll feel better. But then I know once the beta doubles, I'll be like, oh, once I see the ultrasound, I'll be fine. Like I'm gonna be stressed for the rest of my life. Tonight, I'm going out for my best friend's birthday, and it's me and a few of my best friends. And this will be my first time hiding drinking from them. And like, my best friend Sam is very like, are you pregnant? And she's not as much with me because obviously she knows about like the IVF stuff, but like all of our friends, we kind of call that they're pregnant, but then she's the first to like text them and be like, are you pregnant? And I always yell at her. So I'm like, don't do that. Cause like, don't you want to be surprised? So I'm determined to surprise her. So I have to do a really good job faking drinking tonight and Saturday. So tonight we're going to a restaurant. So I'm going to show up a half hour early. I'm going to be like, who's my server? And I'm going to be like, look, I'm going to order like this specific cocktail, like what's a good mocktail? I'm gonna order a cocktail, but like bring me like the mocktail version, and like please. Like I'm just so scared they're gonna fuck it up. I'm gonna sip it and there's gonna be alcohol, and I'm like, ooh, like I don't know, I'm very nervous. I don't want to tell anyone yet. I'm so early. I really am just so fucking scared. And then I also have to say, because I saw this on TikTok where a girl did that, but then on the bill, they wrote mocktails, and like that would be a total giveaway. So I have to be like, and then charge us for the alcohol, please. And then Saturday, we're going to Blue Point Brewery. So tomorrow after my beta, I'm going to call them and just see if they have any non-alcoholic beers. And it's funny because my friend Deanne is pregnant right now. So right now she's not like announced to the world, but she will be very soon. By the time this comes out, she's probably gonna be like 6 months pregnant, but she is like 10, I would say between 9 and 11 weeks pregnant, but she is drinking non-alcoholic beer this weekend, trying to hide it, and she has no idea that I'm gonna be doing the same thing. And oh my God, I'm just so nervous for hiding it from people because I really want to surprise everybody, and I also just don't want anyone to find out before we know everything's okay. So yeah, all right, anyway, I will check back in tomorrow after my second beta. I just wanted to give the fastest update. I keep coming on looking insane, but I am 9 days past transfer, which means I'm actually 4 weeks pregnant today. Like what? And it's actually been a pretty rough last 24 hours. I am having like extremely bad anxiety. Like I dyed my hair, which I know is fine, but while there was dye sitting, I cleaned the bathroom, and I don't know, it was this bathroom. So the doors were open, it's a big room, the windows were open, and I literally like had like a fucking panic attack because I just was like, oh my God, the mix of fumes, like I just ruined everything. I like stopped halfway through, and I was just really stressed. And then this morning I had my second beta, and last time I left at 8 and they emailed me by 9, and today I left at 7:24. And it was like 11, they still hadn't answered me. I'm like, okay, like it's bad news, like 100%. So it's not. My first 2 days ago was 69. All they wanted was for it to double. And that would have been 140, and it was 179, which I know was good news, but it just didn't make me feel better. I was just very anxious. I just feel like something's gonna go wrong, but I need to just not. But let me check my tests. I think we're gonna be getting a dye stealer soon, so you could definitely see a difference. Even just from yesterday's to today, you see a really big difference. And then if you look at the 48-hour progression, that's a big difference. So I'm trying to calm down. I think I'm just gonna get off Reddit and TikTok and all these things. Easy at Home kind of looks the same, but that's okay because First Response is looking really good. So 10 days past transfer, it is like very slightly darker today than yesterday. And then the First Response is annoying because the lines are thinner, but you could see, oh yeah, I think he's definitely a little bit darker than that one. And he's definitely darker than 2 days before. Every day when Vinnie goes to his office upstairs, I like run with the test. I'm like, look, he's like, my wife is losing her mind. I'm all ready to go. This is the only thing that fits me because I'm bloated. So I definitely have some baby bloat, okay, going on. I'm gonna stop searching every single thing negative on Reddit. Why do I keep cutting off my head? But my betas are really good. If they weren't, they would want to see me sooner than Thursday. That's the next time they see me. There is nothing that says this should go wrong. We saw Vinnie's brother last night. I actually dropped Vinnie off because I was so tired. So that was kind of like, I don't know. I feel like I could tell Frankie was a little skeptical because I usually have FOMO and would stay, but I literally came back here and slept from 9 until whenever Vinnie called me to give him a ride home. My friends are very like, I don't remember like the word. I have like no fucking brain. Is this a symptom? Like my brain is just mush. My friends are very observative. So basically the bartender slash waiter like had my back and was just kind of like, whatever drink I would order, he'd just make it for me virgin. So I was like, oh, I'll take a guava margarita. And it was like guava juice, and I'm drinking it, and then Michelle gets it, because I was like, oh, this is so good. So she gets it, and she drinks it. She's like, oh, because yours is like smoky. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, oh, because like yours looks like a different color. And Sam was like, no, I think they look like the same color, but like we always share sips. Like it's always like we always get something different. And like no one asked to drink mine, but like I wasn't offering, so I feel like everyone thought that was weird. But I'm just really hoping I'm doing a good job. I don't know what's I really want to surprise everyone, but I don't know how I'm gonna do this. So we have Blue Point today, and I was hoping they'd have non-alcoholic beer because I drink beer usually, but they only have a non-alcoholic seltzer, and I just feel like it's gonna be sketchy, and they only have one. So I'm freaking out because my friend Dee is pregnant and she's not really telling a lot of people, so she's gonna be drinking that, and I just feel like it's gonna look obvious Because then I could say, because I called Blue Point and they told me to say that I have like a seltzer with vodka, but then what if they ask to try it and it has obviously no vodka, so I don't know. We have to stop by my dad's pharmacy because I need more progesterone, so it sucks because my dad does know when we transferred, but I lied and said we wouldn't know for 2 weeks. So I don't know, it really sucks because I really would prefer not to tell him until after the first ultrasound. So I'm debating. I kind of feel like we might tell him today, but I'm so scared because I'm so early. I'm 4 weeks and 1 day pregnant. I don't know, because the other option is he's gonna call me Wednesday and ask, and I don't want to tell him over the phone, so that's why today might be perfect. But at the same time, the other option is saying like, hey, like, we're not gonna tell you either way, but I feel like that's awkward. Okay, I have to make this quick because my brother-in-law is over helping Vinny. I don't even know if I mentioned this. The second that Vinny found out he was gonna be a dad, we were planning on redoing the deck if we had the funds this summer, like getting it professionally done. And the second that I told him he was gonna be a dad, he literally went outside and ripped up the entire deck in an hour. Like, we keep joking, he just went into straight like builder provide mode. He's like, I think I'm gonna redo the floors in the kitchen. I'm like, okay, leave my floors alone. But anyway, I just want to pop in and just kind of update you. I'm 4 weeks and 2 days pregnant. I'm feeling a lot better. I just have some like corny little affirmations I tell myself, but my lines are looking really good, so that makes me also feel a lot better. I'm like this close to a dye stealer. This technically is a dye stealer, but it's not like where the control line's like non-existent yet. But let me see if I could show you. You see, so like that's the control line, that's the test line, and it's definitely a little darker. There's obviously nothing there, but my baby is the size of a poppy seed. I did do my first baby purchase. I specifically went to Target, which I never do for groceries, just to get this. And while I get it, let me talk about symptoms. I hope you could hear me. So basically, I'm definitely just like cramping on and off. I do get some nausea at night, but like a little bit. But my biggest symptom has been now the tiredness is starting to hit. So I might have mentioned that it's Sunday now. On Friday, I dropped Vinny off, came back, napped for 2 hours until he called me to bring him like home because he was at his brother's, and then literally like did it again, like fell back asleep. And then yesterday we went to the breweries. Hiding drinking was so hard because they did not have non-alcoholic beers. I feel like the seltzer looked so obvious, so I also had Vinny get me a beer, and then he would just like take a slug when no one was looking, but I feel like someone probably noticed, but whatever. It's so funny, we keep joking, we're like, in order to keep it a secret from friends and family, you need a ton of strangers to know, because like so many random people at restaurants, like when we were walking in, I asked the guys like, do you have any non-alcoholic beers in cans I could use? And he's like, no. And I didn't tell him why, but my best friend with a baby, Caitlin, with her baby, started walking in. I didn't want it to look obvious. I was talking to him about non-alcoholic beer, so I was like, okay, and I kind of felt bad and rude because like I cut him off, but I think he got it because when we were walking out, he was like, is the secret safe? And we were like, yeah. So it's so funny. But anyway, got home, 6 p.m. I'm like, I'm kind of tired. I think I'm going to take a fast nap. I set an alarm for 9:30 to take my medications just in case. I was like, but I'm not gonna sleep until 9:30. No, I slept until 9:30. Took the medication, fell back asleep, woke up at 8 a.m. Like, and I think it was daylight savings. So I think I gained an hour or lost an hour, I don't know, but either way, I slept like 14 fucking hours. So I have so much energy during the day, and then at night I pass the F out, but I hope it's a good sign and that baby's just growing. So these are both, in my opinion, gender neutral, but I definitely think, because this one looks pinkish, but it's kind of just more rust colored, but I got them both in newborn size. The preemie was so tiny, but I was like, okay, we're obviously hoping I don't have to use that. But like, it's so cute. It has little, I don't even know, like sheeps. Also got this little guy. It's like, I feel like it's not even showing how freaking tiny this is. Like, this is so small. Good morning. It is Friday, March 24th. I am so tired because Vinny's on a bachelor trip. I dropped him off at the airport yesterday morning, and he's gone all weekend. And this is the first time that he's gone away without me since his bachelor party 4 years ago. And we were in the apartment then, so like there was people above us, so I think it didn't really freak me out a lot. It actually freaks me out a lot more than I thought it would. Like, we have Beasley and Harlow, and they're, especially Beasley, is like a very good guard dog. And they, you know, sleep downstairs, and they would definitely be able to alert me if there was anything. But I was like up all night thinking, because they woke up at 3 a.m. barking, so I freaked out a little bit. But they, I think, just want to go out. I think maybe they're also a little anxious because they could tell Vinny's not here. But yes, anyway, I'm actually 6 weeks pregnant today. It's crazy. I'm getting breakfast with my friend Kylie and her new baby. So I'm actually leaving like in like 40 minutes. I don't even know if I have time to make this, but I don't think we'll be eating for like, you know, maybe an hour and a half, and I'm hungry, so I'm making food now. My clinic is super strict with everything. So like, for example, the cold cuts, obviously, but like I know a lot of doctors that say cold cuts are fine during pregnancy, but this clinic does not. They do not. I'm going to, once I graduate my fertility clinic, which is at like 9 weeks, so excited. I'm just listening to whatever my gyno says. My gyno's very chill, so I'll just listen to what she says. But as of now, this place is like, no cold cuts, no uncooked vegetables. I've been craving cold cuts, so here's like ham. So it's fine if you heat it up. So I've been making like, if you guys ever had the croissant stuffers that are stuffed with ham and cheese, I was obsessed with those when we were taking the train into the city when we started IVF. So I'm trying to like make them myself. So I'm just gonna throw these in the oven. I've gotten a few betas since I talked to you guys last, and my numbers have been really good. I am definitely super anxious for the ultrasound. Our first one isn't until a week from today at 7 weeks on the dot. And at first I was really happy with that, because if you go earlier, there's a chance you might not be able to hear the heartbeat, and I knew that would freak me out. But now that it's getting closer, I really just feel like it's so far away. And I actually emailed 2 places locally that do private ultrasounds that you could pay for, and I just wanted to see if they had anything for Monday. I'll be 6 weeks, 3 days, and based on my betas, I should be able to hear a heartbeat by then, so we'll see. My betas have been really good, so if you guys remember, I think I updated you guys on my first 2, and then I went back. My clinic does like a lot. Most clinics don't do this, they usually just do 2, but my clinic did one 4 weeks and 6 days, so last Thursday, and all it needed to be at was 1250, and it was at 3250, which is really good. I don't think it's twins. Someone asked me, I think Vinnie maybe, because who else did I tell? And I don't know, I don't think it's twins. I also have not had a lot of symptoms. I'll get into that. And then yesterday was kind of tricky because I went in and I wasn't sure what it was supposed to be, because if it were to double, it would have to have been like 40K. But after 1,000, the doubling rate's like supposed to slow down. Like it slows down and it's okay. So it's like, don't freak out. So I did the math, and basically the number I was comfortable seeing was, I was like, okay, if it's above 13,000, I'll be happy. And I want to say it was like 26,250. I've told so many of my clients, that like I'm close with, but also don't know anyone I know, because like, one, I have been getting super out of breath super easy. Like that's actually one of my biggest symptoms, and apparently it's due to like blood flow. So I feel like I almost like have to, even though I'm sure they would never notice anything. I have not had any morning sickness. I almost feel like I could like will morning sickness into existence. Like I also have not been eating the best, to be completely honest. I can't tell if I'm having legit cravings, because I also just have cravings my whole entire life. Like I always have cravings, but I have been craving very specific things. And yesterday afternoon, I really wanted a pepperoni pie. So I had like a freezer one, so I ate half. And it was so good, but then I was like, am I nauseous? And I was like, I think I'm nauseous, and I threw up. I always kind of thought, since I get really bad hangovers, for some reason that was correlated in my head, and I thought that I would have super bad morning sickness like from the start, which I have not, which is awesome. But I also feel like that makes me nervous, like even though I know it doesn't matter. That's kind of where I stopped vlogging, so I'm going to just catch you guys up now. So our first ultrasound was at 7 weeks. I know some IVF patients get to do it earlier, but I didn't want to risk not seeing a heartbeat and only a fetal pull, because when you do a heartbeat scan or just like a placement scan, just to make sure it's not ectopic, at 6 weeks pregnant, there's like a 50% chance that you will see the heartbeat, or it might be too early, or something might be wrong, and then you won't know if you didn't see a heartbeat because something's wrong, or if it's just because it's too early. So I loved that at 7 weeks for us, they said it would be pretty definitive. Like if we were measuring behind or there was no heartbeat, we kind of like know. I don't know, Vinny, he told me he wasn't worried. I'd probably ask him now, and he'd probably say that he was. He just doesn't like me to know that he's worried. So I'm used to them doing an ultrasound for follicles and having them like do the ultrasound and kind of like search around, or in movies they're always like, oh, we just have to find the baby, and it looks like they're like searching. So I wasn't expecting them to like insert the ultrasound and they immediately were like, oh, there's baby. Like they popped it in and the screen's there, and like literally was like little bean, and I was like I don't know why I was shocked, as you would think obviously. I just thought they'd have to search for it. I just didn't think it'd be so obvious, like there is something there. And again, maybe that's like not really weird if you have just never had an ultrasound until you're pregnant, but at that point I had had 20 ultrasounds in like 3 months, and I was so used to seeing like nothing on the screen, and the second, it was just like so crazy. So me and Vinny were like shocked, like speechless, and then she was like, oh, then there's the heartbeat. And I always thought, everyone always says like the flicker of the heartbeat. I didn't realize, I thought they were talking like the flicker of the sound wave. We didn't realize that she was talking like there's actually like a flicker, like there's an expanding of like the little baby. And that was probably the coolest moment. And I looked back at Vinnie and he was wearing a mask because the clinic mandates it. And his whole like top half of his face was just like bright red and so happy. And it was just like the coolest thing. And a lot of people ask like, oh, is it real to Vinnie yet? Because a lot of guys, I guess it's not real until the baby gets here. And I always say, I'm like, the second that Vinnie saw the heartbeat, and I guess me too, but the second that Vinnie saw the heartbeat, it was real. And like, it's been real since then. Like, I think the test, we were just like waiting for the ultrasound. As soon as he saw the heartbeat, he was like, that's my baby. So that was amazing. And we were going to wait another week or so to tell Vinnie's brother, because I think we were getting like an ultrasound or 2 every week. That's like one of the perks of being an IVF patient, is we had so many. We had like 6 ultrasounds by 12 weeks. We had so many, so we were gonna wait another week to tell Vinnie's brother, but he texted us as we were like leaving the clinic. He didn't know that, obviously, and he was like, do you guys want to go to Blue Point? And then he was like, can we please just tell him today? I'm so excited. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I think we should. Like, I'm just too excited too. We asked to go inside first, just to like have a beer first, and I had Vinnie distract him while I put the ultrasound on top of like the bar in the basement with a little note around it that said to Uncle Frankie and Aunt Paula. And I'm gonna insert the clip, but it took him a stupid amount of time to find it. Like, he was staring at the bar and just like nobody was home. It was so funny because we were like asking about the bar and he was like just telling us about the bar, and we're like, dude, look up. And it was so funny because even when he saw the note, he was like, oh, I'm an idiot, but like still didn't know. Meanwhile, like to me, if anyone's gonna surprise me with a note, I feel like I would just assume. It was very funny.
Nice. So he's coming Sunday because I want to get the tiles onto this. Do I have any down here? These are the tiles. But that's a pain in the ass too.
Could you put on top of the?
No, this is gonna be like, they're all like a little different patterns, but we'll have like these all on the front, so it looks more. That's all gonna go all the way over? Yeah.
All the way over like here?
The whole like where everything's white? What? No. What's funny? It's
right.
Nice to watch you get excited.
Yes.
Oh.
I'm just looking to see everywhere you want to put it, you know? Oh my god.
Oh, I'm an idiot. No fucking way.
That's why I was trying to get here.
Oh my god, guys, come on.
That's why we were trying to get inside. I was gonna hide it under the tractor.
Oh. I seen the tractor in there. I'm like, oh.
You did?
And the next weekend was my master plan to tell my friends, and this is my favorite like video and story ever. So once I realized I was pregnant, I was like, how am I going to get all my friends together in person? Because we're usually always all together if it's for someone's like birthday or an event, and I'm obviously not going to like wait. I'm not gonna like announce at someone else's birthday. I was like, how am I going to tell my friends and get everybody together? Because if I was also like, we need to do a night that everyone needs to be able to be there for, they'd be like, okay, again, obvious. So my idea was, they all knew that we were doing IVF at this point, but I told them that my clinic wanted to wait a few cycles before doing a transfer. So I texted them after I already knew I was pregnant, of course, and planning this. And I was like, guys, I finally got a transfer date, so let's have like a wine night, like a last night of drinking for me. No. But they were like, oh my god, yeah, I love that idea. And then my friend D, who was like around 3 months pregnant at the time, texted us a few days before and was like, guys, we know the gender. And I was like, don't like tell us in person, because I wanted to just know in person. And then I'm very corny, so I was like, oh my god, I'll bring strawberries and blueberries, and you could just pop like, if it's strawberry girl, blueberry boy, and like whatever the baby is in our drink. And then I realized, I'm like, oh my god, this is my excuse to like film. So I could be like, oh, I just want to get our reactions, and then also tell my news or whatever. So I'll play the video now.
On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. The group grows. Yes. Oh, I know. Oh my gosh. Wait, why'd you know? I really, because she came to get her hair done, and when she done, I said it's a girl. And she said, oh, you don't tell anyone else. Okay, I want to make a toast. Wait, let me get my. I want to make a toast. I want to make a toast to Sam's engagement. Yes. To Deanna's baby girl. Yay.
And to the fact that I already did a transfer and I'm 8 weeks pregnant.
Oh! Hard to keep it from me. I have a little bump. Oh my God! You literally said it, and I was like, no fucking way. It was a wig, and I had to get the camera without everyone knowing it. Oh my God. Dude. Wait, when I found out it worked? 2 days before the dinner at fucking Bird. Dude, where? I have so much stuff to tell you guys. I got this has been the hardest. I can't believe you kept this a secret. I didn't know this. That's why I did it like that. I'm sorry, I've been so excited. In the shop. I hope wait, so guys, this is why I planned this. But when I asked you guys to have some drinking, I already knew. Wait, don't turn it off yet. Yes. Michelle, you literally called it and I said no. I said no. What's wrong? No. You're pregnant. No. Shut the fuck up. Are you kidding me?
So yeah, that was literally hysterical. So I was officially the tiebreaker. She told us that night was having a baby girl. Caitlin told us that she was pregnant and having a baby boy. And then I was the tiebreaker. And just like a little hint, I'm gonna get into like the gender reveal and then like the wives' tales in a next video, but I am having a boy, which I knew from the very, very beginning. And it's funny because we actually did the ring test that night. Do I think it's accurate? Up until now, I haven't, but we did do it for Caitlin that night. She's having a boy and it was a boy. And then Dee said girl, she's having a girl, and mine said boy. And again, we already knew, like my friends asked me, like, do you know the gender? And I'm like, no, but it's a boy. And they were like, yes, it is. Let's talk about symptoms super fast. So I really did not have a lot of symptoms at all, which again, they do say that's a boy thing, but I do have, I think, a list of like right after transfer. 6 days past was when we found out that it worked. 7 days past, I was up since 2 a.m. It might have been insomnia. I have had like a little bit of like middle of the night insomnia. It also could have just been nerves. Oh my God, see, I'm so happy I looked at this. I completely forgot about the cramping. I cramped a lot, and I remember when my clients made me nervous, I told a few clients really early just for like someone to talk to about it if I knew that they didn't know anyone I know. And I remember one of them was like, oh, I'm super crampy. She's like, oh, I didn't have that at 5 weeks. Like I had that later, so I'd get so nervous. But I did read that it was normal, like period cramps basically, and it's like implantation. And I definitely had cramping for a while. So I have written down 8 days past on, 8 days past transfer on. Woke up really early, major anxiety, crampy, and super thirsty, which like that's come and gone the whole time. 9 days past transfer, was officially 4 weeks pregnant. It's weird how it works. I woke up, oh my God, yes, that's when I started waking up feeling hungover. So it wasn't like nausea, it was just like that hungover head feeling, and I actually still get that if I stay up too late. Like I know if I'm out of the house past 10 o'clock or if I'm up in the house past midnight, I'm waking up feeling hungover, but it's nothing like my real hangovers. Like I say to everyone, and this is why my pregnancy is so easy to me, because this is nothing compared to my usual hangovers. When I get hungover, usually I am like, literally cannot lift my head off the pillow, throwing up all day, cannot keep anything down until like 8 o'clock at night. Like it's terrible. That is not what my pregnancy hangovers feel like. My pregnancy hangovers just feel like it's that head feeling where you're just like, oh, you have a headache, you might feel like a little gaggy, but I'm not like nauseous. It's usually, I never understood the people whose alcohol hangovers were just like, oh, it's nothing food and coffee won't fix, but like that's how I feel now type of thing. So I started getting that like hungover in the morning feeling. 5 weeks pregnant on, super out of breath. Cramping started lightening up and then ready for bed by 9. 6 weeks on, I wrote down slight aversions, but I have no idea what I was talking about. I really don't think I had any. Middle of the night insomnia and hunger. Okay. And then just lastly, I wrote 9 weeks on, I started to feel motion sickness in the afternoon. That actually only lasted for 2 or 3 days, but it was very uncomfortable where I was like, maybe I wanna just look into Zofran if this doesn't let up after a few weeks, just because it really, I'd much rather throw up than feel nauseous. And it was like that motion sick, it was like disgusting. So thankfully it only lasted a day or two. But as for my real symptoms, I mentioned the 2, or I guess the 3. What I didn't write down was headaches, and I still get them here and there, and I'm trying not to take any medicine. I know you can take Tylenol, but Tylenol really doesn't do anything for me, so to me there's no point in taking it. I'd rather just take ibuprofen, which I cannot. I was super bloated from the beginning. I am 5'1" and my torso is like this short, so there's really not a lot of places for the bloat to go. I kind of thought I was gonna show way earlier just because I could look pregnant from the bloat since like 7 or 8 weeks pregnant. But other than that, the main ones were out of breath. That started so early and it's actually lightened up a little bit. I've always talked fast and a lot, and people would always be like, oh, breathe. But like, if anyone, no one did, if anyone would have said that to me at that point, I would have lost my shit, because it's like, I am breathing, I cannot get enough air. And Vinny would crack up because he'd hear me while he was working, like moving around the house, like gasping. And he's like, I would think that you're like 10 months pregnant. And I looked it up, and apparently it's like a hormone thing, and it's also due to you're pumping like a crap ton more blood, which that I think must have been it, because I felt my pulse in my stomach since like 6 weeks pregnant. That's so random and weird, but I remember being like, is the baby moving? Like, that's not possible. And it was due to that. So I think, again, I think it's just the fact that there was a lot of blood pumping and you just get out of breath earlier. The headaches and then the hunger, I think, was like my biggest symptom. I was starving all the time for the whole first trimester. I didn't eat, I wasn't nauseous. I know that's very common, like, oh, if I don't eat I get nauseous. It wasn't like that, but you know, like you don't eat and instead you feel like you're gonna pass out because you're so starving, like you need to eat. That's how I felt, and it would literally be like, I was so stuffed at 10 a.m. and then by noon I'm like, okay, now I'm starving. Like there was no in between. I guess you would say this was an aversion. That I think is what I was talking about. In the middle of the night, I didn't want crackers. Like people are like, leave crackers beside your bed. I didn't want crackers. I wanted like hot. So there was a few nights where literally at 3 a.m. I'd wake up and I'd be like, why am I awake right now? And then I would be like, oh, that's right, I'm literally starving. And I would make ramen, and Vinny's like, he thought it was so cute. He's like, I would wake up at 3 a.m. and just see you like scurrying to bed with like a hot bowl of ramen at 3 a.m. It lasted up until like 12 or 13 weeks. So I remember I even posted on Instagram, I had like a snack plate at like 5 in the morning of like a bunch of stuff, and someone was like, it's so good that you're hungry. I'm like, or it's so good that you could eat. I'm like, dude, I need to eat. Like I'm so starving. And when I was going out to dinner with my friends, I'm like a half hour away. Like, we have to stop at Chick-fil-A so I can get like a 4-piece before we, and this just started to go away probably since the beginning of June. So I guess maybe like 16 weeks or so. And it actually took getting used to the opposite way around, because we had a wedding and Vinny was in it, so I wasn't with him going to it. And it was like an hour away. So I remember being like, okay, I'm not that hungry right now, but there is this cocktail hour and not for like another hour and a half. So I am going to die of starvation if I don't get a snack. So I went and like, I got Wendy's or something. And then I was like a normal human, and I was so full for the next 3 hours, and I was so sad because that cocktail hour, the food looked so good and I couldn't even think about eating. And I'd be like, oh, I just had Wendy's, and people would be like, why did you just have Wendy's if you knew you were coming to a wedding? And I'm like, you don't understand. If this was me a month ago, I would already be like starving again, housing everything in sight. So that phased out. This has been a very easy first trimester. I'm sorry, this is like a very scattered video. Like I said, I'm just trying to like film it while I have like the chance to, so that way I could start filming like fun weekly vlogs again, and also just upload these clips that I have along with the fun videos of me telling Vinny and friends and stuff. We definitely didn't film telling everybody at all. Like this isn't like a fifth of the people that we told, but it was the people that, this is just a tip if you're pregnant, by the way. There was a few people where I tried to kind of like film their reaction like that, and it was so awkward that I literally put their phone down. I was like, that's just weird. If you want to get someone's reaction, you have to set the video camera up, and if you can't do that, I don't know, I wasn't able to do the whole like in someone's face thing. It felt very awkward. I am going to try filming and posting a little bit more frequently, maybe like 2 or 3 times a month, starting now that this is going to go up. I'm still in my second trimester. I am 23 weeks on Friday. So I have a while until I have to post the second trimester recap. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.